Hey, welcome in, everybody. We got the back-to-back going on. We had some action last night. We got some more action tonight here at the Phoenix Esports League. My name is Yanni. I am joined by Righteous. Righteous, we got two teams in Final Bastion, and I don't like stand, still jockeying for position near the top of the charts.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty awesome to see two teams coming in here, both with winning records, the 2-0 on, I believe, blue side, or is it red side right now? And then 2-1 on the other.
Yeah. So I don't like sand. They're over on the blue side. They're up. They're 2-1 in the league so far. Final
2-1.
Bastion. Final Bastion still undefeated, though.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a really important game. Separate the cream from the crop, I would say. You have two teams that are, one, trying to stay undefeated, or get a 3-1 record. Really, really big.
Yeah, 3-1 is, very close to being undefeated. You don't need a rocket scientist to figure that one out. But we'll see if Final Bastion has anything to say about that. I mean, Rams has already said that they think they're the best team in the league. Final Bastion can just run the table and nobody can keep pace with them. We already see a couple of undefeated teams. They're looking to keep pace with a team like Never Lucky, who we saw yesterday, who is now 4-0.
Yeah, and I mean, Rams has a good case for being the best team in the league. They definitely have one of the best tops in Velikos. That GP was looking disgusting. It'll be interesting to see if it gets let through.
Yeah, there should be almost no way that champion gets let through. I mean, not only is Velikos GP very, very strong, but I mean, the champion as a whole is a pain to deal with.
Yeah, and I mean, you're looking on the other side, a player like Dezen, I hope I'm saying that correctly, that doesn't have a lot of game experience in the top lane, at least from a ranked perspective. They've been playing it recently, but it looks like last season, kind of new to this top lane experience this season.
Yeah, and the top lane experience can be a bit of a pain. You get put on an island and things can go from bad to worse, but maybe their support, Cannon Beats, can coach them up a little bit, as Cannon Beats mostly a top main based on their last seasons, now in the support role this time around, which could, you don't normally see a swap from top to support.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Cannon Beats, he was looking to play a role that actually has impact on the map the first 15 minutes. You've always been, I mean, I've been in the top lane one or two times where I'm doing really well in lane, but the rest of the team's kind of crumbling around me and it doesn't feel good. So maybe he's like, I'll make some rooms up top, make sure my top's taken care of.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hike up there, but we are hiking ourselves into the draft, as we do see that Gangplank got banned out immediately by I Don't Like Sand, followed up with a Kali and Rengar on the other side. Final Bastion, Hecarim, Lissandra, and finally we're seeing a Kassadin ban, perhaps a sign that teams are starting to pick it up more on this.
Yeah, Kassadin's been looking scary again, and high mechanical champ Rise. I don't know if we'll see it today, but I'd love to see some Rise gameplay.
Oh, that would be so spicy. It's so hard to find adept players at that champion, because the last couple of years, if you were playing Rise, I mean, what were you doing? You had like a 43% win rate, man. That's not something that you want to see. But I Don't Like Sand, they're going to pick up the Taric. And I recall that you mentioned we got some Taric abusers in this game.
Yeah, Taric, sneaky OP. I don't think enough players are playing this champ. Radiant on this champ in team fights, oof, gotta look out.
Yeah, it is one of the strongest ultimates in the game. I mean, I think we even saw it during, what was it? It was the LCS little preseason thing they had going on. And we saw how much of an impact that champion can make. It's going to get Morgana, going to be the foil to this Taric, provided the Taric's going on the bot lane. I've seen some crazy stuff in my day. But Morgana seems like, yeah, exactly. Hell, I saw a Taric top the other day, and I'm sure my top laner was going to int anyway, but they inted even harder. We'll see Morgana Caitlyn is the answer to this Taric. So they have some tools to try to stay away from him and make sure those stuns are a little bit less effective.
Yeah, typically you see the Lux pairing with the Caitlyn, but I do like the Morgana pivot. That Black Shield could be really, really big in the laning phase. Basically, you have to make choices, Taric, which I'm stunning. Morgana has to be quick with the Black Shield, and now we see Samira. I love this combo.
Oh, yeah, that combination seems absolutely disgusting. You throw the Radiance on Samira, and you time it perfectly. You can not only get multiple teammates to be invulnerable, but you can start off that Inferno trigger in the middle of the fight and go crazy. And we see the Udyr pick up here. You had some strong opinions about this champion.
Udyr top lane, demonic into radiant. I mean, two radiant abusers in the same team. I don't know how that's gonna work, but I think it's sneaky good, especially if you don't have any experience top lane. I'm assuming that's where it's going, but I guess we'll see. Could be flexed.
Yeah, I think it might be a jungle pick for the Lonely Stoner, but who knows? As you said, it could be a flex. We don't really know too much about Dezen's top lane champion pool. We see Vi the pickup here for Final Bastion, Piltover's finest, on the case, Iced looking for the point and click to try to lock down the Samira.
Yeah, the K Vi duo from Arcane, they get that buff. But no, I think the Vi is actually really good here. You see Tark, you see Udyr, lots of CC. I'm just gonna hit my ult, go for the Samira, just bypass all those guys. Gonna take some coordination from their team to focus down those targets, but hopefully we'll see that come to fruition.
Yeah, their coordination has been pretty solid so far to start the year, but they're going up against another 2-win team here. I don't like Sand. No pushovers here, despite what Final Bastion may think of their team. Second half of bans coming through. We see Set, Renekton, gone, Cassante off the table as well.
Yeah, I mean, Cassante is just Cassante. I feel like if it got to the R4, you're doing something wrong. It's interesting to see the Reds had banned it, though. I think Cassante is definitely a blind pickable champ. Just take it to R4, get counter to mid. But lots of top lane focus, and then Azir as the last ban for I Don't Like Sand.
Yeah, and Cassante would be a pretty solid blind, but maybe that's not what they want to put Velikaz on. I feel like it would have worked very well. Their team seems to lack a devoted tank, and you don't exactly want to put Velikaz on one of those champions. They've excelled so much when it comes to the carries. So we'll have to see. This team composition has to sacrifice something somewhere, and they go to the Anivia, which is a champion that's been on the rise lately as well.
Yeah, and if I'm Udyr, I hate Anivia in team fights, especially if I got Ghost. You have to bring Flash now because the Udyr going around the wall, going around the ult, EFQ, it makes it so hard to get into fights.
Yeah, Anivia has been a pain, and I mean, luckily the champion was so underplayed in prior seasons because it's just annoying to play against. And now that it's coming back to popularity, people are going to realize the bird is indeed the word and not something that you want to see. We will see the Echo being picked up here. So still a lot of options on where these champions can go. But with the Ornn lock-in, it looks like all becomes clear.
Yeah, and I think they've pigeonholed themselves into basically an all melee comp. Samira, not known for her range, it's going to be really, really hard in these team fights with the Anivia being present to get into these team fights. I mean, the Ornn, the Tark, the Udyr, they all got to be on the same page to get these fights going. Otherwise, you're looking at Kite City for Final Bastion.
Yeah, it seems like a critical error to go full melees against the Caitlyn and Anivia. And then Aurelia is going to be the selection here. That looks like it'll go over to Velikaz. So Aurelia also going to have a field day because she's not going to have to do all too much to get to the champions that she wants to kill.
Not at all, not at all. And, love to see Velikaz on a carry like this. Can be abused a little bit by Ornn early, but once Aurelia hits 6, just all in potential is crazy.
Yeah, and we saw that Velikaz absolutely abused the top laner last time out that they played against. And now, I mean, of course we have questions about Dezen, right? We don't know, what their rank looks like, what their skill level looks like. We can't get an accurate representation, really. So we could just see the Velikaz show come through once again. And it would be really scary to put the league on notice that it's a third champion that you have to be aware of for this top lane.
Yeah, especially into a team like this. I don't like Sand. I'm just looking at these drafts. It's gonna be really, really hard for them to win, in my opinion. You have so many AP sources. Your only AD is Samira, and Samira in this team comp gonna be really, really hard to get that AD out into the Anivia, into the Caitlyn, into the Morgana, and especially the Vi locking her down.
Yeah, it feels like this composition could have worked, and Final Bastion they were picking long-range champions, and I don't like Sand was like, yeah, well, we'll go with more melee. That's totally fine. I mean, they even banned the Azir, and it's like you kind of had to at that point. It's pick your poison between Anivia and Azir, but it's something for their side would have been pretty nice.
Yeah, I don't like Sand. Definitely doesn't like Sand with the Renekton and Azir bans going out. But yeah, I think it's gonna be really, really hard for these team fights to be coordinated as effectively as they need to. Ornn, really, that ultimate is gonna be huge, and we're talking about a player that doesn't have a lot of top lane experience. That long range ulti to set everything else up, you're kind of banking on, because otherwise, what do you have? An Echo W, you have an Udyr stun, I mean, maybe Tara could get a ulti out and everybody just goes ham, creates kind of chaos. But if you're on the side of Final Bastion, cool, calm, collected, just kite back effectively, you'll be looking pretty good.
There is one thing that I've noticed about composition similar to Final Bastion, and I
Mm-hmm.
haven't seen a team buck the trend yet, is that when a team plays a long range composition that takes a little bit to get online, let's call it for what it is, Anivia, Aurelia, they can take a little bit to get online. Anivia especially, they rush themselves into fights and then
Mm-hmm.
just things fall apart and they allow the other team to get this gold and they never get to this point where it becomes a Thanos like composition where they're almost unbeatable. Not saying this is Final Bastion, just teams as a whole around this level I've noticed fall into this trap. If there's any team I think can avoid it though, it would be Final Bastion.
Yeah, especially, I mean, you really looking at the comps, you have 3 winning lanes, top, mid, and bot. Aurelia should be doing fine into the Ornn. You could basically leave them on the island, have an Avia push out on the Echo, just spam that ult once you get 6, stack up these early drags with a Caitlyn Morgana push. I mean, it's really going to be up to this Udyr to make some plays happen early. Get these lanes ahead. That way you're just not giving up a free soul at 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Yeah, and both of these junglers can gank quite a bit. Udyr, though, looking to run circles around the Vi just a little bit faster. The clear speed for Udyr has been
Mm-hmm.
something that's been really heavily stated and really the biggest thing that champion has going.
Yeah, and I like I said before, I really hope this Udyr just takes the flash. I know Ghost on Udyr feels so good when you're running people down in the jungle, but once you get into these team fights, that flash engage is going to be pretty key, especially on, hopefully Caitlyn doesn't have sums or an Nivea. Otherwise, I don't see a way you get into the fight.
Yeah, the element of surprise as well because of the Morgana Black Shield. Give the Morgana less time to react. You don't want to
Yep.
just be like, hey, I'm telegraphing things, I'm ghosting, I'm running at you.
Yeah.
It just makes for a pretty easy Black Shield.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm don't like sand, I look for creative ways to gank, get off ganks, get off team fights, play to your vision strengths, make sure your vision is being cleared. Echo could be really sneaky in terms of getting on the back line.
Yeah, the flanking is going to be really important. Getting Udyr and Echo coming from some unique angles, pop the Taric ultimate on them to protect a couple of members as they go in. And if they can catch this Anivia by surprise when they're trying to siege out, it could be the fire starter they need in a fight.
Yep, it's going to be on Morgana to really help with the clear. I know the temptation is to put the Black Shield on Vi. That way she goes in, doesn't get CC'd into her death. You can look for picks on Samira and Echo and stuff like that. But I really think if you're Final Bastion, you just get to objectives early, set up shop, and it's going to be really hard for I don't like Sand to get into these fights.
Yeah, they have quite a bit of poke and so much range, as we have stated multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have to see how these teams operate onto the Rift. We are in the spectator delay, but do not despair. When we return, we'll give you all the action of Game 1 between Final Bastion and I Don't Like Sand. Alrighty, Phoenix Esports fans, we are on the Rift. Game 1, Final Bastion versus I Don't Like Sand. I Don't Like Sand on the blue side, Final Bastion on the red side. Everybody heading to the bottom lane here, potentially looking for a bit of a catch here, especially when you got a Morgana. Anything can happen.
Yeah, the Morgana Q. We all know about Morgana Q's 8-second stun, right?
They found Zennial Flash, and that will force the Samira wind wall to be used first. But Adam has...
Yeah, that's going to definitely hurt her clear.
Adam has Flash down. See both of these jungles.
Sorry, I might be lagging a little bit.
Udyr opting into Charmander, whereas Iced is going to opt into Bulbasaur this time around. Not really that surprising.
Nope. On that Samira W, it's going to be interesting to see how much of a push Caitlyn and Mar can get. Not having Q Samira early on, it's going to be really, really hard to match that clear that they have.
Yeah, I mean, and Caitlyn at level 1 does so much.
Cleanse, so
yeah, Caitlyn at level 1 does so much with Piltover Peacemaker. Like, you know, it's a great way to get some lane dominance. And, you know, just going to keep Zennial on the back foot all game long, really, is what they're looking to do. Love to see how the lane plays out. So the junglers will go from bottom to top here, so we'll see if there's any fireworks culminating up on the top side.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I know Ice is a pretty aggressive jungler in his own right. It'll be interesting to see if he tries to 3 clamp and then match that Udyr. It looks like Udyr might skip Krugs. Usually you see the Udyr try to full clear if I get to the blue buff before him, but might not see it.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting if he opts to skip the Krugs because, you know, at that point you got to be a bit of a step faster to deal with the threat in every lane, essentially. You know, maybe a bit of insecurity here out of the Lonely Stoner.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I've never seen. Oh, you know what? We're seeing a 3 camp out of Vi. They try to get Velikos ahead early, skipping the wolves. I didn't know what they're trying to do, but it looks like it's blue Gromp red into a gank. Hopefully he's ready for it.
I like it. I mean, especially the fact that, and you know, Aurelia can set up some CC, you know, land that flawless duet, and you can have a kill very quickly. We saw a bit of a trade going the way of Aurelia earlier, and you can see the ping go down already.
I mean, he's coming.
Wants to go up there.
No ward, should be easy kills. We'll see.
Flawless duet misses, and Dezen with a very nice charge to be able to find a way out of there. So that gank attempt foiled by the fancy feet of Ornn.
Yeah, a nice little E to get away from the Vi knockup. One thing about Ornn, I think you gotta land the knockup first before you have the E from Aurelia come out. Otherwise, he could just W right out of it. Keep on walking.
Wait a minute. Ice could be in a pretty bad way here. Ice had to flash over the wall over at Rift Herald.
Yeah, now the tempo is just not in Ice's favor. The failed gank, as Udyr, they've only taken 3 camps. I can get aggressive now. I can get a level advantage. We'll see if he can run with it.
Zenial doing a pretty good job down here, despite being on the back foot. Wave pushing into them, up about 5 CS, give or take. So that early
it's really nice to see Zenial. Yeah, it's really nice to see Zenial effectively farming, even while getting pushed. I think if you're in this lane, you got to wait for Udyr to come, mix up the camping with the Tarky. Otherwise, it's going to be really, really hard to fight into the cave mark.
Yeah, and you know what? If you're going even in CS in this lane, like, you're pretty okay with that against the Caitlyn, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Samira not known for her scaling, but neither is Caitlyn. I think after that mid-game, early mid-game, Caitlyn starts to fall off, and Samira is just a teamfight monster. If you can get a wombo combo in this mid-game with Samira, you're looking pretty good.
Let's see, Udyr has shown up to the party. It's a very telegraphed gank, though. He is very slow. He's gone spell immune, but decides, you know what? I took 1 headshot proc. I don't want to take any.
Yeah, and nice pull off there. Samira's going to miss cannon if they continued forward. Just take the farm. Show that you're there. Alleviate some pressure.
And that is really the name of the game when your laners are pushed in. We see Exiled 1 looking to get a little chippy on the Rams here as we see trades coming out everywhere, but Final Bastion taking the poor end of all of them.
Yeah. Rams getting
now we see a 3v3. Good stun onto the Caitlyn, but that's after the net. Lonely Stoner has to flash out, so it's a 3v2 for right now. Zenial in the face of this Vi. Iced looking to get onto this Taric. Are they going to be able to find the kill? Taric very low, trying to find the trade kill onto Ice. Zenial is going deep for it and does pick up first blood and is going to be able to dash out of there like a thief in the night. First blood going over to I don't like sand.
I mean, that was great to see. It got a little bit scary there with Lonely Stoner getting taken down so low. I don't think he expected the Vi to be queuing him right in the face, but the E reset, Zenial in and out, playing it like an assassin.
It was so smooth and really rewarded for hanging tough in this lane. And it feels like Final Bastion, they're pressing a little too hard right now.
Yeah, Ice, I mean, he knew Udyr was down there. He had just shown. Gotten a little bit too aggressive fighting in the wave, maybe. It looked like if the trap went off, Udyr's going down, but unfortunately it didn't happen.
So close. It's just, in a millisecond separates the difference between a kill and, a 1-for-0 on the opposite side. League of Legends, a game of inches,
Yep, and while Vi does fall, the tempo is still in Udyr's favor. Udyr should basically know where Vi's going at this point. He started bot, 3 camp, should be pathing down towards this dragon. Meanwhile, last Exiled one, doing really, really well into this Anivia matchup. I thought he'd be struggling, melee into range, but having a really nice CS lead, about 2 waves.
Yeah, we'll see if that changes, though, now that Rams is level 6. Once Anivia gets that Glacial Storm available, it becomes a little bit easier to clear out the waves. You see Echo taking some opportunity to hang out in the river, try to get some ward coverage down, maybe make something happen. Just gonna have to head back to lane.
Yeah, the wave management could be really key for this Echo pick, because Anivia can shove you in a moment's notice, and so if you could stack up a wave, give yourself some time to make a play, 30 seconds, have the Echo excel at that WE gank, but otherwise it's going to be, just kind of smooth sailing for the Anivia. You just get to farm it out and be a menace in the team fight.
Yeah, and we saw them just go back and forth. Rams got the push in, tried to head down bot lane, couldn't get anything going, but that's exactly what you can expect with these 2 players in the mid lane. As long as Rams gets a blue buff, as we see, it looks like they're heading over to help out Iced and try to take it. Oh. That would be huge. We do see Udyr starting up on the dragon down on the bottom side as Velikos is going to make a play up in the top lane, but Dezen playing very reserved, very careful, down a lot of CS, but playing smart.
And it's a really, really scary dragon attempt as he gets spotted out, because the push is in Red side's favor and he has to back off.
Yeah, now will they start up the dragon? It has reset a large amount of its HP. It's been started up by Adamaz, but Looks like they're going to just back off of it. They don't want any piece of it, so that dragon will live for now at least.
Yeah, really interesting. I think, Udyr had taken a good chunk of damage from the dragon. You had an opportunity there with the Anivia, but decided not to play it safe. Live to fight another day.
Yeah, I really felt that Iced was just going to hit the go button there, was level 6, has that cease and desist available. And, Udyr was not, it didn't have a whole lot of HP.
Yeah, and we see Aurelia taking that lane pressure, doing the best you can from top side. There's not really an objective you want to fight over. I mean, Rift Herald is up, but it takes that blue away from Udyr that loves to spam abilities.
Yeah, that feels really, really bad if you were on the side of the Lonely Stoner. I mean, you had to have known that this was going to happen. Hasn't shown up top at all yet and gets punished for it by losing out on the blue buff.
Props to Dennison. I mean, it's a tough matchup in this Aurelia, but he's playing it safe, taking the farm when it comes, not feeding this guy any kills. Sure, you're down almost 30 CS, or a little bit over 30 CS at this point, but you're going to be in in team fights with the ulti. That's what you're just playing for.
Yeah, and you can see that Velikaw's almost at 10 CS a minute, so I mean, that CS is as good as kills, honestly, if you're an Aurelia. Mm-hmm. They need to do something to try to stop them. We do see that Rift Herald getting started, actually was taken, my bad, taken by Iced, and does not have to flash it out of the pit that time around, but a big pickup because of that top pressure.
Really weird. The alert didn't go off, but yeah, really great pressure from Aurelia, allowing that to happen. Sneaky little take. Don't have to show on vision, just Q over the wall. And we see, it'll be interesting to see what they do with it though. Do you use it to take this first dragon, or just wait and try to get the first tower gold to someone?
Yeah, and really, if you want the first tower gold, who are you going to put it on, right? Like, you've got a lot of really good options here. Your laners are farming fairly well. We do see Exiled 1 looking to show up here onto Rams. It was a double stun by Exiled 1, putting out a lot of damage. Only Stoner in the area, forcing the flash out of Anivia. Iced in reserve. Flash, but messes up the Q. Will be able to land the cease and desist, but Anivia is now an egg, looking to scramble that one up. Ice taking a whole lot of damage and is charging the Q and goes back in and will go down. Echo being able to pick up that kill.
That was a greedy kill from Ice, especially when you miss. That's a Q where you wish you could have back. Just Q the other way. You did your job. You kept the Anivia alive. Take the win.
Yeah, and Ice possibly feeling the pressure as Exiled 1 picks up another solo kill. But as I was going to say, Ice feeling the pressure, missing 2 Qs in that fight.
Yeah, maybe he felt good because of the item advantage. We already see that Grievous build picked up. Going to be really, really key into the Samira with the Tarek healing and the Udyr. But just a little bit over aggressive should result in a dragon, though, for Udyr.
Yeah, now I think the answer is pretty obvious of who you give the Rift Herald to, right? Like, you want to give that gold over to Velikaz if at all possible. Dragon taken down. It is the Cloud Drake, so we will see Ocean Drake coming up next. So that means we got a couple of choices for the souls if we get to that point. Right now, I mean, I'm surprised that Final Bastion has not shown a pulse in this game, really.
Yeah, I mean, that early gank failing top really threw a wrench into Ice plans. It seems like he's just been off tempo ever since. A little bit over aggressive, trying to make things happen with this vibe pick. And like you were saying before the game started, if you draft this team comp, I think you're willing to play back, scale a little bit, just get to objectives and do damage there.
Big dive attempt, forcing the flash out of Velikaz. Great stuff there by Dezen. And now Exiled 1. Look at the chunk to Rams. That Anivia is taking so much damage at this point.
Take a peek down. Yeah,
they're going to try to make this play again. Velikaz going way deep for that one. Able to pick up the kill. Will be able to walk it out with just enough HP to survive. A big solo kill up top. Even Final Bastion, a little pep in their step, perhaps.
And Ice has spent so much time down here. Probably about 30 seconds. He's been waiting for this game to happen. It just hasn't come. Zenial and Cannon Beats just playing to their strengths, knowing we don't know where the Vi is, so we're just going to not regress.
Yeah, and especially as a Samira Tarek, being measured with your aggression a really difficult thing to do. See his exiled one showing up here on the bot side, looking to land a stun onto somebody. Automaz using the black shield on themselves. Frisky has been exhausted and has gone down. What a hell of a chains by Morgana. Is it going to be enough? Cannon flashes out of turret range. Exiled one gets stunned under turret. Is going to pop the ultimate, but still has the turret beating them down. It'll be a big shutdown going over to the Anivia. A pretty smooth dive attempt, but it goes just slightly awry. Rift Herald dropped in the top lane on the other side of the map. Iced trying to get some gold into Velikaz's pocket. You can see Zenial very low, looking for the engagement on the Rams, though, and they were able to get that Inferno trigger and take down the bird.
Not sure what Rams was thinking there. You definitely don't win the 2v1, especially when that 2 is Samira Tarek. But yeah, it was really unfortunate for Exiled One. The wave didn't quite crash when he ulted, so he's still taking that turret aggro.
Uh-oh, Velikaz in the 2v1 here lands the fullest away. Look at the damage that goes down. Lonely Stoner has to flash away. Velikaz with this Blade of the Ruined King and a Vamp Scepter. That's a full build Irelia right there.
Yeah, taking a look at the gold, I mean, you already have an 1,800 gold lead coming out from the top side. This man's trying to knock this tower down and wreak havoc on the map.
And Velikaz looking to be the lone ranger up in the top lane for the side of Final Bastion. I must say, I've been very impressed with I Don't Like Sand's strategy. It feels like they've just let the game come to them, and they've taken every advantage that they've been given.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Final Bastion, you want to have a couple of those ganks back. I do think you are in a pretty good position in terms of contesting these objectives. Irelia is going to be really, really scary. The setup from Morgana and Anivia, is going to be huge.
We see Velikaz going after this turret big time, and they will be able to take it down. First turret, gold in their pocket. We'll be able to get them closer to their next item. We see a lot of mythics coming out here. Jack Show on the side of the junglers. We see the Exiled One could be in a little bit of trouble here. Iced with a flash Q is going to land that one. Cease and desist there. Ooh. But Rams taking a lot of damage on the backside. What a huge double stun. And Zenial in the thick of things. Inferno Trigger picks up one. And Automaz is going to be able to flash away and survive. Exiled One very low. In a lot of trouble. Rams flashing forward. They're looking to get this Echo dead. And Vi will be able to find him, give him the extra gold because they got the Caitlyn on their team. But yeah, a lot of kills going on the map.
Lots of stuff
we saw another one
there.
here too. Automaz goes down. Cannon beats tanking it up like a good support. And 4-0-2 on the Samira right now.
Yeah, I mean, this Samira is going to be a menace in teamfights. Props to Dezen. I mean, yeah, your first Sara went down. You're down 70 CS at this point and 1 kill. But you get into these team fights, you set up the Samira, she's going to be doing lots and lots of damage on these squishies.
Yeah, the gold lead has shrunk quite a bit, though. They did just get a turret. It's about 600 gold, which is really not what you would have expected by this time. If you just turned the gold totals off, you would expect that I Don't Like Sand would be very far ahead at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. I think a lot of that's coming to the 4 kills from mid and bot. Some donation gold coming to the way of I Don't Like Sand. But without those kills, I mean, we're looking at a pretty even game.
Yeah, we'll have to see what impact Velikaz makes on the map now. We do see that Exiled One has gone up top to match the Aurelia. No teleport available for the Echo, though. Doesn't mean the Dragon is going to get started up by the side of Final Bastion.
Yeah, like we said before, if you can set up on these objectives early, really not a great way for anybody to get in, especially the Lonely Stoner that doesn't have a flash available. Just free Dragon.
Yeah, it's pretty free. Mountain Drake is going to be the soul for the game, and that I think that's a huge benefit over to I Don't Like Sand. If they're able to get that soul, it'll make their lives a little bit easier against the onslaught of the other side of Final Bastion.
Yeah, I mean, it would be huge, especially on a hyper-scaling tank like Ornn. Udyr would be really beefy, and then the Echo actually does really, really well with Mountain Soul as well. As you see Rams trade a little bit into Dezen. I think this is the way you want to play the game. I think you have Echo try to match their Aurelia.
This could be a big problem. Cannon Beats is here. Stun with the ultimate on the Echo as well. Velikos is in so much trouble. Flashes over the wall, gets stunned, but does get the Black Shield. Cosmic Radiance going down on all members, defending everybody, but Velikos is able to pick up one kill. They're sustaining so hard. Frisky is able to free hit without any care in the world, and Velikos is still alive somehow. Quadra kill for Velikos, the Lone Ranger in the top lane. 5-0, Immortal Shield Bow living up to its name.
I mean, holy cow, Velikos popping off there in that choke. I really thought he was dead to rights with everybody coming up from blue side, but lo and behold, reinforcements came.
And you know what the worst part is? I don't like Stan. That has to be the biggest gut punch in the world. They had everything. Samira with the Inferno trigger, the Echo ultimate landing face first on this Aurelia, the Radiance coming down from Tarek on all 4 members, keeping all of them invulnerable, and it was not enough.
I'm going to stop you right there. There was one key member that didn't get hit by Tarkle, and it was Echo. Echo gave a Q reset to Irelia. Chain started that fight because when she had that Q going, as soon as the Tarkle went off, went ham. It was so sad to see. Right outside the Tarkle, he just needed to move a little bit in, and that fight was theirs. Game of inches, if I've ever seen one.
Oh, man, it's so crazy how one thing like that can turn a game on its head. And now we're talking about a 2,000 gold lead for the side of Final Bastion. You know, it's not even 20 minutes, but it looks like the scaling composition will be able to make it over the finish line. You know, Velikos has decided they will be able to carry this team scaling away. And you saw Frisky MMO was well defended because all of the focus was on that Aurelia, pumping out quite a bit of damage here.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're looking at team fights, you got to try to focus on this Aurelia, but it's not like Caitlyn and Anivia don't do damage.
Yeah, you cannot completely ignore them. And we even saw, before that fight broke out, Rams on Dezen chunked him for a third of his HP. Like, this Anivia does have some sneaky damage right now. Nobody's seen it yet, though.
Yeah, I mean, our team fight really hasn't occurred. I mean, we didn't see a quadra kill out of Aurelia, but it was her versus the world, basically, until her bot lane showed up.
1 CS away from a Flame Horizon. It would be a 21-minute Flame Horizon, it looks like what we might see, although Ornn is there to pick up some CS, so we'll have to see who gets it first, who wants it more.
Now, if you're Velikos, I know just, shoving in the waves, looking for kills is a very, very fun thing to do, but you gotta really wave manage here, because if you're just shoving waves into the Ornn or into the Echo, you're giving them free gold. Stack up a wave and look for an objective. Make them make a decision, be proactive on the map, say, hey, we're gonna go threaten Baron with this 3-wave stack bot. Come and stop us.
Nah, it's just time to start the fight. Zenial gets engaged upon with that Vi, although Ice is now cut off from the rest of the team, has to try to find a way out, and does. Teleport coming in. Dezen on the backside has been rooted up, but now Velikos is going to drop the ultimate and go in. John coming through. It's only going to hit one member. Ice is so low, and Ice will fall. Raid Boss has gone down. Velikos on the backside is very low. Ace in the hole lands. Is going to take out the Echo. It's a 3v3 right now, but the Anivia wall does so much to zone them off. Lonely Stoner has to get out of there. Dezen taking a lot of damage. Zenial, Inferno trigger, doing so much damage, but is only able to pick up 1 kill. Anivia into egg form. Adamaz has to get around to try to help them out before they go down. It's the knockup. It does land, and that is a fight win for I Don't Like Sand. A 4 for 3 in their favor. So close.
So Exiled one putting the team on his back. I don't know if you noticed, Irelia was in the backline wreaking havoc. Echo's doing the same thing, keeping the team away from helping Irelia. They were able to focus Irelia down and turn that fight.
What a close fight. So many low health bars, just back and forth. And the tower honestly made a lot of the difference, putting in a little bit of extra damage on a couple key targets. I mean, 6th man of the team, MVP, mid-inner turret. We're going to see a dance around the dragon here as everybody has respawned, and they're ready for another fight. Final Bastion, they're setting up, they're saying, hey, run it back. We got next.
Ult advantage on the side of I Don't Like Sand right now. I was really worried about that last fight. Tarek ult came out so early, and they decided to pursue that fight. They knew something I didn't know, though, because the fight ultimately went in their favor.
So crazy, and the Inferno trigger being so close was huge, but we're going to see another engagement here as Velikaz has already gotten to the back line and takes out the Tarek. Other side of the fight, Lonely Stoner and Exile 1 trying to make things happen, but Velikaz is too strong. Ace in the hole, a flash, a block, but Velikaz, are you kidding me? Blind over the wall is able to pick up yet another kill. It's a triple kill for this Aurelia.
And this Aurelia is now a bona fide monster. I really don't know how you can stop this man.
It's Thanos champ.
I mean, level 15, almost at that 16 mark. You really got to lock him down. I just don't know how.
Yeah, and really, now the question is, can you ban this guy out? Gangplank, Renekton, Aurelia. 3 crazy good performances that we've seen on stream now. And the question really is, when the lights are brightest, when the stream is on, Velikaz comes to play. Baron started up from Final Bastion.
Yeah, and it's really pick your poison at this point. If you ban, if you throw 3 bans his way first phase, I mean, that's a lot of his team getting whatever they want. Baron just melted.
Yeah, I mean, they never stood a chance. I mean, Purple Worm sometimes can get the better of some teams, but it never stood a chance there. And it really, the question is, how do you approach playing against Final Bastion now? Because you take a look at the rest of the map, their score lines, their stat lines are direct beneficiaries of Velikaz. They were struggling to stand on their own. So now the question becomes, looking forward to the next game potentially, do you hard focus this Aurelia?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough call because on the one hand, you really want to play around this bot side. I think, Zenial and Cannon Beats did a great job. If you're looking at the gold right now, it's still 3k gold advantage in the side of Samira.
Goodbye. When your jungler who has Jack Show the protein looks like they're made out of paper mache, you know the game might be lost.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really tough at this point. I mean, there's really no way to deal with that, really. I do want to... Oh,
here we go. Call the Forge God. It's going to land. Velikaz, they're going all in on him, but it has a black shield. Multiple members of Vulnerable Inferno trigger, but it's a great interrupt there from Ice, but they point Velikaz in the bouncy house. Frisky MMO falls. Ice is going to go down as well, and a total wipe there. I don't like Sand. They still managed to find some crazy fights.
I mean, if there's a way to throw a game, that was the way. I really think you just want to 4-1. You have such great siege potential from Frisky MMO and Rams on the Anivia and Caitlyn. Have Aurelia wreak havoc on the side lane. There's really no reason to force a fight there.
But will they be able to break the unbreakable, this Anivia clearing these waves? We talked about the siege of I Don't Like Sand is fairly poor. You can see they were only able to get 1 turret out of that despite picking up 4 kills.
I mean, that was a desperately needed turret, though. Open up a little bit of the map. I mean, you look at the vision. Red side, it's just complete dominance of the Rift right now. You got to get vision up for blue side. You got to play towards that vision. Make more fights like that happen where you can just catch a couple people off.
It's going to be all about picks. You have the opportunity if you are Final Bastion, Anivia, Morgana, Vi, very good at getting picks. We see Velikaz with the flawless duet, able to land some picks of their own. They've been getting a little over aggressive at times, but I feel like they might have earned that right. Now on 4 items, by the way, as they've added a Death's Dance to the inventory.
Yeah, and I mean, Velikaz is pushing level 18 at 27 minutes. This guy is going to be a different animal when it comes to team fights. But if you can focus him down, I mean, the rest of the team's kind of struggling. You still have a 3k gold lead coming out from the Samira and about 1,000 gold from the Echo. I really think if they could focus on the Aurelia, the team fight is... I don't like Sands for the taking.
Yeah, and they played it to perfection last time around. Chain CC'd Velikaz. Even though Velikaz got the black shield, the Tark ultimate, well-timed, keeping everybody invulnerable and safe for the time it took for the black shield to wear off. So as long as they get another fight like that, they'll be looking pretty good. And Zenial has played a damn good game to keep their team in it as well. Yeah. They're on 3.5 items themselves.
Yeah, and I think if you're the side of Ice and Crew, there's only one job, and that job is to ult the Samira. That is going to be who changes the fights for the better. if you can get Samir out of the fight, I mean, there's no way that you can win team fights after that.
Final Bastion wisely using their siege potential there as Caitlyn unabated, able to take down that middle inner turret. We do see Echo might want to try to get in and get in a cheeky flash, and they do. And Velikos is going to get on the back line, stun, and now the Taric ultimate's going to come out. The Inferno trigger is there. Velikos taking a lot of damage and just completely alone, isolated from the rest of the team. Zenio picking up the kill. Call the Forge God lands on one member instead of Nivea. The Black Shield will not be enough to save him as they've gone golden. Frisky MMO has to run away but gets stunned on, and now is Udyr a little bit too deep. They get rooted up. Look at Frisky MMO. They do have a bit of damage, but they will have to back off, and it looks like I Don't Like Sand will be able to take this dragon as Velikos goes in so deep and was unable to get any assistance from their team.
I mean, look at the gold lead. That fight right there puts them out within 1,000. As the game goes on to its latest points, 1,000 gold lead really doesn't mean much. I mean, looking at these fights, Velikos has to, and it's imperative that he plays back towards his team. These team fights aren't going their way because Aurelia is just being able to get picked off because of how deep he's going into the fight.
Yeah, and really the crazy part is that Aurelia goes back and is handled by 3 members. The rest of the fight is a 2v4. That final Bastion is not winning. I Don't Like Sand, the 2 members that they send to deal with this and with the rest of the crew at a final Bastion is enough to keep them away.
Yeah, I mean, Exiled One's playing the WE combo to perfection. He's trying to look for, these creative picks that we talked about, but he's zoning off the rest of the members. I don't know if you caught the Zonia usage there. They all froze up. They're waiting for the Echo to come out of Zonia's. Meanwhile, Velikos is just getting focused on the other side.
Yeah, those 1.5 to 2 precious seconds of that time, it just changes the fight and throws it on its head. Now, final Bastion, the ones on the back foot, the ones that maybe be losing confidence. And Velikos, they got to smarten up. They got to play a little bit wiser. And they found a catch right here. Zenial in a lot of trouble. And they will go invulnerable, but they are so low on HP. Velikos untouched. And down goes the Samira. And here comes the rest of the fight. We see Frisky untouched, just beating down on Cannon. And that will be a shutdown. Going over to the Morgana, it's a 5v3. All the siege power for Final Bastion. They find that pick, and they are looking to maybe end the game.
Yeah, I mean, ending goal is really possible right now. Velikos is a monster. Dives can be really easy with the Nivea ulti. We'll see what happens.
Call the Forge God out. Lonely Stoner isolated on the side. CC immune, but the ace is put right in their hole as they go down. Deza now the target as the turrets are being beaten on, but there are no minions. Velikos almost able to take out the Echo, but despite all of Echo's distraction attempts, still going down or unable to make anything happen, the team will back off and head to Baron.
Yeah, good call. Samir about to come up. That ulti would wreak havoc on the low members of FB. Baron should be completely free.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this was totally free, but we see the last Exiled One. They want a piece of Final Bastion, trying to maybe find a way in there. They're going to get stunned. They're going to go golden. Velikos is stunned as well. Are this Exiled One going to be able to get off a pretty solid ultimate? Velikos is low on the side, trying to pick up a kill. They are healing so much. Exiled One unable to make anything happen, and Velikos on death's doorstep, dancing with death, will still find a way to survive. And the last ope from I Don't Like Sand falls at the Baron.
Yeah, Velikos is really putting the team on his back. Was over aggressive in some team fights, but the 11-3-7 score line, I mean, almost double Flame Horizons the Ornn. That guy is a top laner, man among boys.
For real, man. Velikos has just shown that they might be the best top laner in this league. And all that's left is to wrap a bow on this game. An inhibitor down with Baron up for the side of Final Bastion. The possibilities are endless. All right, maybe they're not endless. You're either going top or bottom.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing through one of the side lanes, waiting for the mid lane to crash. A weird thing I didn't catch. I wish I would have done it sooner. Radiant Virtue on Vi. Don't think I've ever seen that before, but I think they're just trying to enable the Aurelia. I mean, I can't hate it because it looks like it's working.
Yeah, Iced has fully embraced the supportive role, shredding armor, preventing some regen and making Velikaz a lot tanky.
Yep, and it's just a matter of time. They're to walk this wave in, wait for mid lane to crash. You'd like to see a top here with the TP available, but I think they just want to play it safe in case the team fight breaks out.
Yeah, they do not want to lose a 5v4, especially since we've seen that the side of Final Bastion without Velikaz is a little weak. And his Siege is just unstoppable. Trying to defend this turret is a folly as it falls. And the Siege continues. They've got their inhibitor set in their eyes. The mid lane starting to push in. The stun lands on the Stoner. Has to back off. The inhibitor now under siege. Velikaz looking to go in, lands a double stun, has the black shield on them, but will back off for now. Binding landed on the Zenial. Morgana going in, trying to make a play happen. They've gone golden. They're going to land 2 stuns. Frisky is low, but Velikaz is full HP and has found the back line and down. No, Samira, no, will finally go down. Ice will be the next to fall, but Velikaz is very healthy. Fountain Laser can't do anything. A triple kill to end the game, and Final Bastion. It was a little rough early on, but they're going to take game 1.
Yep, and what a way to end it. I think we were all aware that, they might be a little bit weak early. The scaling, they really are just being a monster on the top side. Game done.
Yeah, not entirely surprising once we saw that Aurelia get out of the lane. The big question was, were they going to be able to translate their lead that they had built up in the top lane, getting a kill, getting first turret, being up so much CS? And the answer was a resounding yes, with an almost 50k damage performance, 49.4.
Yeah, I mean, really putting the team on his back. The next highest was that 28k from a Kaylin that was struggling, but that was enough to bring him across the finish line, and it was great carry performance from Velikaz.
Yeah, and now the question is, as we alluded to in the game, is what is the strategy for I Don't Like Sand? If you are their coach, what are the changes that you're making in this draft?
I mean, it's really pick your poison. There's 3 carry champs that Velikaz can play. I think you just try to play through bot. Just put top on an island and say, look, we know it sucks, but just do your best, and hopefully we can win team fights.
Yeah, and we'll have to see as these teams are going to head into the draft for game 2, what these coaches and these team captains cook up. We're going to take a very short break, and when we return, we'll bring you the draft of game 2 between I Don't Like Sand and Final Bastion. Welcome back, everybody. We are here for the draft of Game 2, Final Bastion versus I Don't Like Sand. It was rough in the early going for Final Bastion. It felt like everything they did, I Don't Like Sand, just absorbed all of their blows and sent them right back at Final Bastion like some sort of anime villain. But ultimately, in the end, Final Bastion perseverance and their top lane secret weapon paid off. They were able to take Game 1.
Yeah, it seemed like, wherever Ice was going, Mayhem was following, just not for their favor. But that quadra kill between towers, top lane, that's really what turned the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was really the fight of the game. That's when the Aurelia started going, went from 1-0 to 5-0, and at that point, so much gold in those hefty pockets. I just started beating everybody down with their wallet.
Yep, they were definitely taking sand and throwing it at them, so to speak. They were ready to play once that Aurelia came online. I think, if you're taking notes, I think you really just got to be like, Velikaz is getting fed no matter what. Let's really just play through mid and bot, see if we can make the game over before he gets online.
Yep, and the first ban has been fired. It is a Hecarim. I Don't Like Sand. I'm interested to see if they're going to go throw 3 top lane bans the way of Final Bastion. I mean, the rest of the team, it feels like, again, mentioned it in the last game, they've been beneficiaries to what Velikaz has been doing. So we'll see if they just continue to go after this top laner, force him onto something else that he's less efficient on, and expose the rest of the team.
I wonder if we see a Renekton for that last ban. But on the other side, we see Hecarim and Lissandra, 2 really big team fighting picks taken away.
Yeah, they were banned the first time. It's the same 3 bans here.
Same 3.
For Final Bastion. I still like the Caston ban. I don't want to see that champion in any of the games. It looks like it's going to be Akali the final ban. For I Don't Like Sand, this is an opportunity. They could just go first pick Renekton.
Yeah, well, the Diana comes out. Interesting.
Yeah, Diana is going to be the pickup, and that is something that Ice saw a lot of success on to set up some plays. It's a good aggressive pick that once you hit level 6 has a lot of impact with that ultimate.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, Diana's a pick that you really have to build/play around. That ult is, kind of what you want your comp to be centered around. So it'll be interesting to see how they fill out the rest of their comp.
And a first pick Volibear from I Don't Like Sand, a potential flex here, as Dezen and the Lonely Stoner both play this champion. So I like the little bit of increased flexibility it gives the composition, especially on a first pick. You don't quite know where it's going to go. We are going to see Cannon go back to the Tark, and why not? They had a really, really good game.
Yeah, other than that unfortunate Echo missing out on the ult, I mean, really, really good game from Tarek. The Volibear flex, definitely key. I mean, you're going to have to make Final Bastion blind pick their top at this point if you hold that flex all the way to R5. So hopefully that helps them out in terms of, dealing with Velikaz.
The question is, does Velikaz even care? To be honest,
yeah,
they might just be like, yeah, whatever, you can do your worst. Now, an interesting thing that we might see here is that we might see Velikaz not have a champion going into the second round of bans, which I think would be a huge advantage for I Don't Like Sand. We do see they're going to run it back with Morgana.
Yeah, if I'm Final Bastion, you gotta blind pick a solo lane anyways. I think you just pick top lane here, but they go with the Kate Morgana instead.
Yep, they are going to run it back. We'll see if I Don't Like Sand is going to match the ego and pick up Samira again. And again, I don't see why they wouldn't. Their Tarek Samira was a very strong combination. They both played great in that last game despite the result.
Yeah, I mean, Samira was doing so much work in those team fights, along with their mid laner, keeping the rest of the team off of her. But Samira locked in.
Yep, they do pick up Eye Patch Mommy, and they will ban Renekton. So we're going to see Velikaz on something different here. Has to dig deeper and deeper into the bag of tricks. I Don't Like Sand, they still have another ban to play with, so they could take out some other options like Jace, Rengar, Tryndamere, Riven, Gragas. These are all champions that Velikaz plays. Now, I don't think that Gragas would be an option here for Velikaz. It doesn't feel like it would gel well with the rest of the team.
The Echo Band coming out from Final Bastion. Don't want to see that again. Did really, really nice work in those team fights done in the rest of the team. And Camille is the final band for I Don't Like Sand.
Yeah, I mean, Camille's a pretty strong champion, and how strong Velikaz has been as a champion, as a player,
Yeah.
I should say, on multiple champions. Do you really want them to have a champion where they can isolate somebody?
No, but I mean, the guy does play a lot of Graves top. Graves will coming around the the top with Diana ulti with the Morgue Chaser. I don't know. Seems kind of broken to me.
That would be pretty busted. I actually want to see that now. A real aggressive pick that's just going to absolutely bully lane. So I Don't Like Sand. They've got a couple options here. It looks like they will lock in the Mordekaiser. I'd imagine that's going to go into the jungle, so that should reveal the Volibear in the top lane and give counter pick for the mid lane.
I think that's a draft blunder for I Don't Like Sand. I really think you just got to hold the counter pick for top, and hopefully he does well. Maybe they're trying to play through mid, which honestly isn't that bad of an idea, but the Volibear flex was there, and unfortunately, I mean, Velikaz knows who he's playing against now.
Ooh, it's going to be a Veigar pickup here for Final Bastion. The Cage able to provide so much zone control. And I Don't Like Sand. I feel like they could struggle against that.
Yeah, and Veigar kind of fills the need that Anivia did, and Anivia still had a hard time doing that. Granted, they don't have that Udyr pick. The Diana's a little bit more quick twitch on the engages. And Fiora, wow, Fiora locked in.
Ego pick.
Yeah, if you're at the Fiora side, what are you scared of? The Volibear stun is pretty telegraphed. You just pop the W's and he's an auto. The sustain, even when he ults, expect to see some more bowling from the top side.
Now the question is, will we see instant 4 vital proc, like the Chinese super servers?
I don't know if he's that good, but I would love to be proven wrong.
That would be super dope. We see Silas will be the final pick on the side of I Don't Like Sand. Couple of prime ultimates to steal. Veigar, Morgana, Diana, all high impact ultimates. I think this would have been the right time for a Rise, as Rise traditionally does well into Veigar. But again, I don't know how many people actually play Rise because of the state that he's been in the last couple of years. Specify anybody outside of Pro.
And I think I Don't Like Sand's mid laner is just a melee only player. I think it's going to be really tough once again to do these team fights because you got almost all melees once again.
Yeah, and especially that means Diana has an easy time just kind of walking up and going, you know what, I'm just going to drop my ultimate right here. I don't know what you're going to do about it. And Mordekaiser might be forced to ultimate a Diana out of the fight, and that means that Fiora would be able to run rampant over the rest of the team.
Yeah, in my competitive play, I actually consider more to Diana counter. As soon as you see her E into the team, you just hit the ult button. Mm-hmm. Unless she has QSS, she's really not going to be able to do much in the 1v1. But that means Fiora, Caitlyn, Morgana just get to, chase everybody else down. So we'll see how that goes.
And this is, both these compositions, taking a look at them, have a lot of magic damage on both sides. Diana, Morgana, Veigar, I think they're a bit more of a threat than Mord, Silas, and whatever smattering of magic damage you have between Volibear and
Yeah, I will say the DPS for Mord once he gets his passive off is going to be really nice, especially if he goes, that Sunfire tank Mord build that we see all the time. I sometimes like having one AD source because it forces the other team to not itemize against it. And we saw Samir, really put out damage and work last game, so hopefully they can do it again.
Yeah, even their auto attacks, the crits they landed on the Aurelia late in the game were still doing about like 200 damage, which isn't a whole lot when you think about it. But as fed as that Aurelia was, the steel caps, the death stance, it was a surprisingly large amount of damage when you factor that in.
Yeah, and looking at top lane, Fiora is going to be a little bit squishier than the Aurelia. I don't think they're going to be building, shield bow, but they're going to be doing a lot of healing.
Yeah, and that was a problem they weren't able to deal with last game too. You saw how much healing Aurelia was doing, and I don't know if I don't like Sand can deal with a champion that heals even more.
Well, the good news is, Mord, pretty good. Bringer of Grievous Wounds to a fight. Tarek can do it as well with his ult, Volibear maybe. So we'll see. But lots of opportunities for Diana and crew to set up these team fights in their favor. Diana can honestly, hold the ult until Samira does. I mean, they don't have to engage. They have a lot of zone control with the Vygar, with the Morgana and Caitlyn. Make them walk into you and then just go ham.
Yeah, it feels like another scenario where Final Bastion can just do whatever they want to set up, and Veigar are a little bit stronger of an early game champion, at least when it comes to enabling some jungle ganks. So we might see a connection between Ice and Rams coming up in this game. But I do want to know, how do you think these team compositions play into each other?
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same as last game. I don't like Sand's going to have to look for some unique angles now with the Silas, maybe with the Volibear ult coming over a wall. Mordekaiser ult's going to be key, but I think the team fight is still favored for Final Bastion, especially if they get through the objective early. I will say they don't have a lot of, ways into a team fight, but if they're there first, they're sitting pretty.
Yeah, and you always know that somebody is liable to potentially get caught out. I mean, I don't like Sand. Their ways to get into a fight are pretty limited, but they can walk up. You can land a pick. Mordekaiser, Silas, Tarek, very good at setting up picks. Even Volibear coming off the top rope over a wall can really put a scare into Final Bastion.
I will say I would be beyond ecstatic if Fiora builds Anathema's Chains and just sticks that on Samira.
Oh, that would be so disgusting. Especially, if you manage to land a riposte that ends up catching the Samira, she'll just be dead instantly. And it's a bit of a it's an itemization choice that you don't see super often on something like a Fiora, but is definitely a welcome sight because that's just using your brain.
Yeah, I mean, really, you're gonna be itemizing for the MR. Why not just take 20% free damage away from the only AD source? We'll see if they opt into building it, but I think it would be a really good item for them.
And well, it really all depends on how fed Velikaz gets. That's really been the question in every game they've played on stream so far, and we will have an answer to that question shortly as we are in the spectator delay. And when we return, we'll go to game 2 between Final Bastion and I Don't Like Sand, with I Don't Like Sand fighting to force a game 3 and Final Bastion looking to go 3-0. Alrighty, Phoenix Esports League family, we are on the Rift for Game 2, Final Bastion. I don't like sand. This time around, Final Bastion is on the blue side. We saw them pick up the win on red side through Velikaz. And the question is, you know what? Let's play a little bit of my favorite game. My favorite game is the over-under game. I don't know how much. Yeah, do you know how over-under works?
Yep, I know a little bit about betting.
Excellent. I work for a sports book.
There you go.
Let's set the line of Velikaz kills at 9.5. You think they're going to get more or less?
Oh, I'm going to say less just because Fiora is maybe a little bit harder to pull off than Irelia. But I don't know.
I agree. Not to wimp out and, pick the same side as you, but I think we're going under here. I think we're going to be pretty close, though. We're going to get the Vegas edge of that half a kill. We're going to see like 8 or 9 kills on this Fiora.
Start sweating it a little bit.
Yeah. We'll at least be sweating a little.
Yeah. I would love to have seen I Don't Like Sand invade with the Silas E, the Tarek E, the Q from Volley. Just didn't happen. I feel like they had a really good invade comp.
Yeah, I wish we saw more invades. I love invading. I am Grandmaster at level 1 Fiesta because I love invading.
There you go.
It's a lot. It takes a long time to get there.
If Silas is going to do anything in this lane, he's got to do it soon. As soon as that baby cage comes out, it's going to be really hard for him to actually punish this Vigar. But levels 1 and 2, he could put out some massive damage early.
Yeah, the good news is, as Silas, once you hop on top of the Vagar, you have a pretty easy time dealing damage to him. It's just everything that happens before that, you catch a stray Q, you get hit by a W, and you're giving him AP on top of it. It's pretty rough.
Velikaz getting really aggressive, inviting a isolated Q to come out, but it doesn't.
Yeah, what a surprise, to be honest with you. Are we really shocked?
No. And, I liked Ice playing her on top. You would love to see Lonely Stoner be like, hey, Velikaz gets super aggressive all the time early. Maybe I just, 3 camp, get up there, but he hasn't done it.
Actually, what's the most surprising thing that we didn't really talk about is I swore it was going to be a Mordekaiser jungle.
Yeah, that is true.
I thought about it. I'm like, wait, there's Mordekaiser in the top lane already. What? Regardless, Lonely Stoner on this Volibear should be able to get some pretty solid ganks down, so it might be able to help relieve a little bit of pressure.
Yep, Fiora getting the LS cheated recall off as the chains go wide for Exiled One.
We could see a problem here as Ice has to get in, but Volibear got there first. Last Exiled One very low. Rams in hot pursuit, a flash over the wall, flash to flash, and it's first blood with the Kingslayer on top of it, but the W comes down. The Dark Matter makes it 1-for-1. Now Rams has to try to find a way out of there. Does not have flash. They're going to throw down the cage, but it's not going to help them out very much. Rams had to keep running. Finally able to find a way out there. It will still remain a 1-for-1.
You get the 1-for-1, but Vigar can, freeze this wave, get a little bit more CS, then TP back. Maybe the advantage in Vigar's favor, in all honesty.
Yeah, up now almost 10 CS and still scaling up the AP, especially picking up that kill. That's 5 right there. That's +5, baby.
Yep, we'll take those, especially on a scaling pick like Vigar. We're talking about the Fiora here, but you get a baby cage, just W ult on someone's face late game. Oh,
wow, what a double stun there. A great cage, but Rams will still fall. Exiled One able to get that kill now, 2-1.
How great would it have been if he just walked away? Unfortunately, that wasn't the case for Rams. Much needed kill going on the Silas because, that pick should fall off later. So the earlier you can get him going, the more roams you can get off in this lane phase, the better.
Yeah, Silas is a pretty big threat, really, and the champion is so annoying. The Kingslayer, can do so much. He can hit a point where he becomes nigh unkillable or pumps out gratuitous amounts of damage.
And he's got, really good ults to choose from. Morgana ults on this guy, sneaky good. You just E in there and ult everyone.
Yeah, and then, you got yourself a stopwatch, you go golden, and then you can catch up with everybody that you stun. You don't need to walk up. You have the chains.
Yeah, my favorite is taking the Diana ult though. You E into them, force their flash, E again, get the free ult.
Oh, that's pretty gas.
Yeah, we'll see if you can pull it off.
You see him putting down some wards. We see Volibear over the walls. We're looking for the engage, but it's a well-timed Black Shield. Meanwhile, on the top lane, Velikaz actually in a little bit of trouble, but forces the flash out of Dezen because Ice was in the area. Adamaz able to maybe turn this around. It's a pretty good binding. Now Cannon getting to below half HP. A lot of auto attacks going down. A Q hitting as well. But Lonely Stoner wants to come in for round 2.
Yeah, you know, Frisky MMO really wanted to push the advantage there. Lethal Tempo was procced, and for Samira, that just feels awful. But he knew Lonely Stoner was there. Opts to play it safe, play it smart.
Exiled one stuck in a cage despite all the rage. Rams has the ultimate available, but it's a stolen ultimate, but Rams will just barely be able to pick up the kill before dying themselves. That could have been very scary, but ultimately it ends up being a solidly executed gang.
Yep. I mean, he was only a couple takes from getting the W again. Maybe taking down the Vargar. I think he goes down either way. But unfortunately, can't get that trade kill.
Yeah, and that's a shame. You really hope to get a trade kill there when you steal that Diana ultimate. It's a bit of a sad feeling there, but ultimately not much you can really do in a 2v1, especially this early in the game.
Yeah, and really, in all honesty, the only advantage right now is that Vargar has a refill and Silas doesn't. You know, Silas has a lot of kill threat. If he can get the, eat a land on Vargar, steal the Vargar ult, I mean, he will one-shot you.
Yeah, he just becomes a better version of Veigar because he's just Veigar with chains.
Yeah. Lots of poke coming out from Rams. The double buff.
Yeah, I was just about to say that too. I mean, those auto attacks are going to get a lot of mileage, especially with that red buff. And you can already see Rams has 64 AP from that passive, up to 153 AP. That's a lot, man. That is a heck of a lot.
That is a lot. I know people are saying mages are dead or struggling right now. I'm convinced that those people just don't know how to weave autos while trading. I think mages are in a really, really good spot once you get those 2 items. Archangels, Triumphant Return, as well as, maybe Roa. I don't think he'll go Roa. He won't go Roa because he's got Lost Chapter, but mages are looking pretty good.
Maybe see a steal? No. Although Ice wants to get in there. Is in the middle of the 2 members. Is going to drop the ultimate down. Lots of damage. And now Rams coming from the side. Do they have the cage? Cannon flashing over the wall, but a huge binding. Cannon low. Cannon stunned. Cannon dead. And they're looking for more. Stoner very low, but gets a shield and is able to run out of there with the extra movement speed. So they do lose out on the dragon, but will be able to pick up another kill. Veigar 3-1. Maybe we've been disrespecting Rams here. We were so obsessed with Velikaz and how many kills they were going to get.
Yeah, and I mean, Velikaz has, kills worth of gold to his name, already up, 40 CS, no. 8 minutes in.
Exiled one. Little bit of trouble. Ooh! Surviving by the skin of their teeth. So close.
Yeah, if I'm Rams, I'm a little upset that just doesn't get the kill.
Yeah, it feels bad. Like, especially when you're 3-1. Maybe Rams missed, one minion with a Q, and now he's kicking himself because of something he missed 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, and this Veigar, is really, really scary now. I obviously just got a plate as well. Silas is going to have a tough time dealing with him.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to have a tough time dealing with him. Getting stronger and stronger. And not only that, has attracted a lot of jungle attention, which means you take a look at this top lane that we haven't really talked about too much. The CS gap is massive once again because Velikaz has not had to worry about Lonely Stoner at all.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Velikaz can really play with no wards because I think as soon as somebody comes up, he can really honestly 2v1 with that ultimate at the ready.
Yeah, and it feels bad. The question is it Lonely Stoner not prioritizing the proper lane? I mean, last game, you're playing a farming jungle, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to just go and do your thing on that sort of champion. But this time around, you've got a ganking jungler, but the opposing mid laner is the threat now. They're not mobile. Like, it feels correct to go after the Veigar, but dividends have not been paid.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you can really go after the Veigar if you have Volibear ultimate ready. Otherwise, you're just gonna be walking into a baby cage, right? That's what happens when you lock in, 2 melees in the mid jungle.
Mm-hmm. Off-screen, Rift Herald was picked up by Iced, as they have now recalled, and they have their Demonic Embrace picked up.
Yeah, Ice having a lot better of a game.
Oh yeah,
than
easily.
last game.
Easily 0, 1, and 3. He's been doing a pretty good job in the assist department, getting Rams ahead. And, it's the lane that probably needed it. Velikaz has done a great job on their own. And in the bot lane while down CS, Frisky and Adamez, they've been completely safe.
And now we see the game coming out from Volibear. Let's see if it amounts to anything. Oh, the sun comes out.
Grand Challenge comes down, but Velikaz is just going to slide out, elects to not try to take that fight.
Yeah, it's really tough as a Volibear because you want to help your top laner out, but you're also 2 levels down to the solo laner.
Yeah, that's not exactly where you want to be. And let's see if Iced wants a piece of this Volibear, and they do. The shield is there, but Rams in the area. Stoner has to flash away. Diana ultimate down as well, but that is a big cooldown and an engaged tool off the board.
I will say, if they're taking note of everybody's summoner spells, they should know Rams doesn't have a flash available.
Oh, there's dueling Everfrost there, although Last Exiled one getting very low, trying to deal so much damage to Rams. Rams is low, Rams kites it out, and Ice will be able to pick it up. But now in the bot lane, Zenial with the engagement, looking to potentially get that Inferno trigger off. The Cosmic Radiance is going to come down, but it's a good stun by the Morgana, will force them both back. Binding, just barely missing both targets as the trades are relatively even. Lonely Stoner getting caught with a Rift Herald getting dropped in the mid lane as well. Lots of action going everywhere now, as lots of plates going over to this Veigar, who looks for more. He's going to take a turret shot, and looks like he'll be able to back off. Ice going to go pick up plate number 4. Only Stoner trying to engage onto Ice, and now Rams trying to make sure their Diana gets out of there.
Yeah, we're so used to Velikaz making stuff happen on the top lane. It's been relatively quiet on that side of the map. Everything else happened in the mid and bot.
Yeah, it's so much action, and meanwhile, a peaceful life for Velikaz. If you took the over bet, you're pretty upset.
Yeah, you're pretty upset right now. Looking at the map state right now, we have we'll call it 3.5K gold lead for FB. It's going to be really, really hard to contest this dragon if you're the side of Sands. If you're going to take it, you got to take it now.
Yeah, and really Final Bastion also wants to take advantage early on. 2 of their strong members with Mythics. We anticipate Velikaz will still be up in the top lane. They don't have teleport available to them. Samira does not have a completed item yet, so they must strike while the iron is hot.
Yes, and I will say Exile once opted to save the flash when he was getting ganked. That flash engage could be key in one of these team fights.
Yeah, especially if they pick up the Diana ultimate. That hijack is available currently. We see junglers on the bot side, so the move could be over the dragon. We see Frisky MMO and Zenial going at it back and forth. A couple of trades, but Frisky low on mana could be a problem, especially since they only have a Noon Quiver to their name.
Diana hovering this lane as Zenial goes in.
Dash into stun, forcing the flash out of Frisky MMO. Now Zenial getting double stunned up with the cleanse, the flash, the Inferno trigger, the double kill for Zenial.
As an ADC player myself, wait.
Ice,
we have another more fight.
Looking to find Cannon, but gets stunned. Rams flashing over the wall. Primordial burst, bursting away the Samira, and now Cannon taking so much damage as well. Silas in the area, but it's a double kill for the Veigar, as now it's a 2v2. Veigar, very low on cooldowns. Exiled one has that Primordial burst, and Ice could be in a lot of trouble, but it's going to be a very good cage to ensure Diana gets out of there. A 2-for-2 overall. Veigar getting even stronger, and the mid lane turret going down because Velikaz with a pretty sneaky rotate.
Yeah, and when you have that top prio...
It's a good catch.
Wow. This Veigar is doing so much damage already. Where are we at in stacks wise? 171. 14 minutes into the game.
It's a Rams game, baby. It's Rams world. We're just living it. Exiled one gets himself stunned up. Could be in a lot of trouble. Ace in the hole is going to hit Stoner. Stoner very low. So is Ice. And the Inferno trigger is out, but nobody's in range. But Cosmic Radiance coming down. Frisky Momo going to get stunned up, and they should surely fall. The exhaust, the Black Shield, no, they'll be able to survive. This Dragon going down. Who's going to get it? It's secured by Tarek, and I don't like Sand will be able to get that second Drake of the game, but they lose so much for it, a 2-for-1.
Yeah, I mean, you lose a lot with the 2-for-1, but getting that second dragon, I think, is going to help out immensely. Now you've, taken the dragon threat off the map for, we'll say 10 minutes. You can opt to, give away these free Drakes, scale up a little bit.
Yeah, and it's pretty good, especially with Hextech Drake on the table. Although giving a couple of those away can be a little bit painful.
It's true.
Yeah, the attack speed, the ability haste, it's a lot, and it stacks up for sure. But ultimately, it is a fail-safe that you can do. Take the first Drake, the first 2 Drakes, allow the next 3 to go to the other team and give yourself more time to score.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to give 3 Drakes away, but 1 or 2, if the play isn't there, obviously you want to get the soul if you're the side of Sands, but if the play isn't there, you don't have to force it.
Yeah, they can afford to be at least a little bit patient, but not too patient. Because Veigar continues to farm up inevitability that champion has. And the Eldritch Horror in the top lane, Velikos, still locked behind this lane. We haven't seen them leave it yet. They do have a 50-plus CS lead. So we saw them translate their lead last time around. And given the fact that the rest of I Don't Like Sand is softened up, maybe they'll get more. Frisky is in so much trouble. Zenial starting to get the better of this bot lane.
So Zenial actually opted into what I think is great itemization. You're trying to deal with the Morgana Kate, pushing your face in over and over. So why not get some AoE wave clear to counteract that? Plus, lots of AD for Samira.
Yeah, it's really fantastic, and you get the Omni Vamp on it as well. It's really everything that Samira wants. Couple that with the Steel Caps, and you are winning trades now. Velikos looking to go under turret, gets pulled into the Death Realm. The Grand Challenge is down. Velikos is just barely out of turret range. Ice in the area. Now we see a teleport coming in from Silas. It's a bit of a broken up dive there, but the cage will keep multiple members from moving.
The TP forced out to make sure that the Mordekaiser gets out there safe. Rams looks like he was ready to run to the end of the earth to get that guy. But going back to bot lane.
It's a double stun, but the Black Shield is strong, which means Adamaz may be the one to go down. What a huge stun! This could be a huge turnaround, and we see a fight up in the top lane as well. Exiled one will fall. Icy's going to get credit for that one. Lonely Stoner has to flash away. Desn't in the area, but the Rift Herald running on that top turret, and now Mordekaiser's got nowhere to go. And 3 angry members, the final Bastion, and Velikos gets their first kill of the game. Zenial fell on the bot side as well, and final Bastion with wins all around the map.
Yeah, I mean, Trey going off the rails right now. What are you doing?
He wanted to take out Shelly, but the smite wasn't enough, and Lonely Stoner falls anyway. Top inner turret going down as well. They're looking for the inhibitor turret.
Yeah, I think you pull off here. You don't want to get him inhib too early, especially to a team that's behind. It gives them, loads of pressure, but you're also giving away free gold at that point, unless you can force the end relatively soon.
Impressive stuff. Diana now with 5 kills on the board, as well as this Veigar. Starting to make work happen on this bottom outer turret. I don't really understand why. Zenial and Cannon Beats are on their way back. Samira with the wave clear is massive as well. And Samira is liable to make something like that happen. They will burn the flash for it, but they're able to pick up the kill. And now Zenial in hot pursuit, looking for more.
That's a double TP.
Forward, and they will be able to get the double kill. But as you mentioned, the double TP is here. And here comes Fiora, looking to maybe get some kills. But the parry isn't enough. They're going to flash. They're going to find the Tarek. They're going to take him down. Give one over to Velikos. So they do get one back, but they spend a lot for it. 2 flashes, 2 teleports.
Yeah, I mean, 2 teleports coming out. You really, props to them for pulling the play off. You don't usually see a double TP, but the TPs do come out, and there's 30 seconds to Dragon. I think you're okay with that.
Yeah, you know what? It's not all bad. Veigar gets to head to the mid lane. Fiora gets to chill in the bot lane. You know, and maybe they're even able to get this turret, although Zenial does do quite a bit of damage, but Velikaz does way more to the turret. Lonely Stoner is in the area. Velikaz getting kind of low, is going to pop down the Grand Challenge. Zenial is not able to finish off the kill. Velikaz low. Velikaz somehow survives, and now Zenial's in a world of hurt. It's a double kill for Rams. 7-1-7, 2 items on this Veigar. The Magic Hat giving them all the AP.
Velikaz definitely knows where his team is at all times and just knows how to position. I mean, that guy is slippery when it comes to these skirmishes.
And this game is starting to become a rout. A 9,000 gold lead for Final Bastion. They will secure their first Drake of the game. Again, it's just the give up 3 Drake strategy to get back in the game, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could give up 3 Drakes, but now Fiora is going to be an absolute side lane menace. They had the CS lead, and now they got a couple kills under their belt. I mean, who can stop this, man?
And now Diana's got their Jack show. So, you know, the pain train is coming in. Cannon's in trouble. Cannon is dead. Almataz able to pick up the kill. And things are just going from bad to worse for I Don't Like Sand.
Yeah, and that CC was chained beautifully. Tarek just had to watch as his health bar just, slipped away.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to let go of the keyboard.
Yeah.
You just realize that you are dead. Cannon's having a hard time this time around. Samira off the ground just a little bit, but not too much. And the Exiled one has had a very, very quiet and frankly disappointing game at 2-5-1.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Sands, you have to go back at this game and say, what did Stoner do the first 10 minutes of the game? Because Diana was definitely the most proactive one. Stoner tried to be a little bit, but I think when you're playing the Volibear pick, you're never going to match the Diana, clear. So just make some plays happen.
Yeah, and you know what? If it's time to make plays happen, you just got to throw anything you can at the wall and see what sticks. You have at least a little bit of CC, and there are a couple melee members you can pick, but it's been so hard for them to do anything to this Fiora. And now with Diana having Jack Show, Diana's even tanky too. It feels like these easy to get to members are not going to be easy to pop.
Yeah, and I mean, man, FB having this huge vision control. I mean, the maps is lit up like a Christmas tree. They know exactly where red side's going to be, and they just, play around it. Velikaz has no worries because he knows where the jungler is at all times.
Yeah, and I'm sure Velikaz has no worries anyway. Have they ever been one to play worried? Woo. They're going to try to make a play onto the Sylas. Sylas with the double root. The Grand Challenge goes down. Diana ultimate gets popped by the Sylas, but Velikaz gets pops the Sylas, I should say. Able to pick up kill number 3. Zenial could be between a rock and a hard place, but Frisky MMO, that's not a fight that you win. Cannon looking to do something, anything to the menace in the top lane. Velikaz, who's had a quiet game by their standards, but still 3-0-3.
And the underbet still looking good. Only 3 kills, 23 minutes in. We'll see if, they can get that 9.5. But if I'm Zenial, he must be feeling like what I do in solo queue. It's like, man, I have such a good game, but by the time I can, move around the map, get some items, the game feels like it's already over.
Yeah, you ever see that the picture of Donald Glover where, he walks in with the pizzas and everything is on fire? That's what's going on here. I mean, Lonely Stoner. It's not something that you expect to see out of a Volibear, just getting absolutely bursted. When was the last time you saw any ability hit a Volibear and chunk them for that much?
Well, when the Velikaz has 300 stacks to his name, he's going to be doing lots and lots of damage.
Yep, so much damage. Tons of damage, Freak might even say. As the Baron does go the way of Final Bastion, and Velikaz in hot pursuit, looking for a couple of kills here. Rams bringing up the rear, looking to land a big cage, flashing forward, drops down the cage, stuns multiple members. Velikaz able to pick up that Tarek, and now Velikaz in the thick of things. Ice dropped a good ultimate. Somebody's pulled into the Death Realm. Ice tanking up a lot of turret shots. It's Velikaz in the Death Realm. Rams is legendary. Velikaz picks up kill number 5. Flashes onto Zenial. Zenial tries to dash away, but Velikaz will not be denied. Are they able to pick up the Volibear? They are. It's a triple kill for Fiora. Maybe a little bit of a sweat bet if there are some respawns here, but I don't think it will go that
That's
way
all she
as the
wrote.
Nexus turrets will go down. Tarek will spawn just in time to see the Nexus explode. And Final Bastion with a dominant game this time around. They take the series 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, what a series it was. Game one was the Velikos show, but game two, Ice and Rams really picking up the slack. Had a way better game than game one. Rams getting tons of damage on the Vigar, and that's, I mean, what can you do at that point?
Yeah, not much, to be honest with you. Rams just ran away with the game. He just ran roughshod all over the Rift. A KDA of 21 that game, 9-1-2. And the Final Bastion showed me something this game. They are not just a Velikos show. Ice and Rams had very, very good performances, and they were the reason why Final Bastion won this game.
Yeah, and I mean, if your team's looking at FB, you really want to get Ice, knock off a little bit in this early game. I think if Ice can't do what he wants to early on, that's when you have opportunities to strike. Otherwise, Velikos is just going to scale on that side lane and make your life a living hell.
And on the other side, I don't like Sand. They've got an okay team, but I feel like they need to play toward the bot side of the map a little bit more. Zenial and Cannon were really a huge force, and maybe the question is, are they excellent, or is the bot lane the weak point of Final Bastion? These teams definitely do have flaws.
Yeah, I mean, for Final Bastion, if you're frisking Adamaz, or however you say that name, you're just letting, your solo laner scale. You're letting Ice do what he needs to on the map. And then on the side of Sands, it really feels like right now there's not a lot of communication happening. I feel like if you have a Volibear, you want to be communicating with the mid lane side, let's saying like, hey, Flash is down, free ganks, he can only cage one of us. Or, let's get Zenial ahead. Right now it feels like they're kind of approaching like solo queue and not really, coordinating anything early.
Yeah, and it just things not coming together quite right for I don't like Sand, but they were 2-1 before. They fall to 2-2 now. Doesn't mean their season or dream is dead by any means. It just means there's a little bit of kinks they got to work out.
Yeah, and I mean, lose is improve, right? If you're losing these games, definitely try to improve from them. That's the only way you can get better, right? Seeing these flaws, seeing these mistakes, and being like, okay, let's not do that again. But you live and you learn. You learned some things about yourselves today, and you should go out and perform next time.
Yep, and there will be plenty of opportunities for a next time because there are plenty of games getting played throughout the season here at the Phoenix Esports League. One of these teams has played 4 games now. I don't like Sand. They fall to 2-2. While Final Bastion is 3-0. So there are a lot of games that get played throughout the week. Some of these teams, they've played even like 5 games, right?
Yeah, I mean, self-scheduling league, you can get a lot of games in really, really quick. And so if you're on a hot streak, you want to ride those, get those games scheduled.
Oh, hold on. I see some adjustments here. So Final Bastion is actually 4-0. And
Wow.
I don't like Sand is now 2-3. So some late adjustments that I was not privy to. So apologies for the misinformation here. And but I mean, listen, the Final Bastion is now 4-0, right? Like we thought they were 3-0, but now they're actually 4-0. I mean, all right, maybe this team, if they have holes, they cover them up pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at this team, you're obviously drawn to Velikos. I think Rams, if he can get on some comfort picks, he looks really good as well. Ice really wants to be proactive early, sometimes to the team's detriment, maybe overforcing some things. And then Frisky, MMO, and Adamaz not really doing anything much in lane, but they're there from team fights. They don't feed. Kind of the deft approach. Just let your team carry it out, and you just sit there and auto.
Yep. Sometimes it's all you got to do. Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and we are going to cut to a very short break because we're going to try to get an interview here. So when we return, we will hopefully have somebody from the winning side of Final Bastion. Do not go anywhere. Phoenix Esports League. We'll be back in a bit. Welcome back, Phoenix Esports League family. We are here for the winners interview. We have Rams from Final Bastion. Rams, congratulations on your win. Team improving to 4-0 now. That's a pretty solid record. You are doing what you said your team would do.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we're showing we're pretty good. We don't really have any weak points. We're pretty well rounded. Everybody's really flexible.
Yeah, and you know what? That is always a great thing to have on your team. So tell me, finally, we get to see a pop off in the mid lane. You had mentioned there's a lot that had to go right in order for this to happen. So, are we just never going to expect another pop off game from you again? Like, what's up here?
Okay. Well, they ban Akali every game, and then you can't ever blind Veigar because, like I was saying, that game we had to ban 4 champions just so I could be okay playing Veigar. I think we banned like Zed, Kassadin, Echo, and Lissandra. Oh god, my Alexa went off again.
Oh, jeez.
But I mean, it was a good game for it. I mean, last game I played Anivia, it was pretty good there. Even though I'm not that comfortable on Anivia, I'm trying to get better.
Yeah, Anivia was actually a pretty solid pick there.
We kind of knew
really
these guys. We knew these guys were gonna play like probably around their bot, Samira most likely.
Mm-hmm.
So we were leaving open the Samira, and we just wanted to counter pick it with stuff like Morgana and Vi, and it worked out well. Like even game 2, we're like, okay, they're gonna play Samira again, and it was a problem, but we can draft around it. And our bot lane played well. We're putting them on stuff to stay neutral and like kind of stop them from getting dove. Like Echo and them, they went to dove bot like 2 or 3 times, but I mean they played well.
Yeah, take us a little bit into that game one, because for a while, I mean, you guys were. It seemed like you were slipping a little bit until you kind of found some steady footing in the mid game.
Sorry.
I was just saying, what was going on there? What were the comms like?
We had a couple misplays early on. I don't really remember what they were. We had one bad mid. I think Vi missed Q when we were trying to play it slow. But don't really remember. We knew top was really ahead in farm wise, and we thought scaling wise it was pretty even. But we knew we won 5v5 team fights. We just had to play it slower than we were, and like as soon as we all had 2-3 items, I think we would just win because we have enough lockdown for Samira with Morgana Vi and Nivea. So
yeah,
it is what it is. Our top laner popped the fuck off. Or sorry, language. But I mean, I'm just sitting.
Fine.
Sorry, another ban. I'm just sitting. I'm sitting bot lane, just like farming the waves, and I hear quadra kill top lane, and I'm like, oh okay, cool.
Yeah, you just pan over, and you're like, oh, neat.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
So I feel like your team will need to pull out all the stops, and your top laner will need to be on ace behavior. I know you guys have a very important matchup coming up in a couple of weeks against Never Lucky. I know you don't want to look too far ahead into the future. Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
No, I just didn't hear you. I'm just kidding.
Now I just can't even tell if you're memeing or not, bro. So, all right, how you feeling ahead of this matchup against one of the other undefeated teams?
I haven't really looked at their playstyle yet. I mean, we watched 1 or 2 games, and they seem to just be playing around Tom. But I think it's pretty easy to shut down. Teams that play around just one player, I don't think are that. What's the word? As consistent. Like I feel like our team has multiple carries. One day I'll let Ice play Lee Sin, and I guess he'll carry. But
that'd be super dope. I always love seeing a Lee Sin pop up every so often.
Yeah, it's not happening, but he wants it to.
Looking into the future, the rest of the schedule, do you see an undefeated run coming up, or are you a little bit nervous about a couple teams?
I haven't really looked if there's any team. It's what are they called? Clown? What are they? I don't remember their team name. It's Clown something. Me and Colin are in Plat Diamond League where it's like Clown, and the owner of that server has a team here who we're friends with him, and I'm sure he's running a good team. So if anyone, it's definitely that team because I know they're well ran. But other than that, we shouldn't be losing any games.
Well, we'll have to see if that holds up, as there is a very long season ahead. But listen, you've put the league on notice, so we'd be happy to see an undefeated run come out of you guys.
Yeah,
But
it'd be nice.
that is all the time we have here tonight, Rams. Thank you so much for your time. And
Thank
I
you,
guess
guys.
there's only one thing left to do. For myself, Righteous, our producer Snow, Rams, for giving us a fantastic interview. Thank you so much for being with us here tonight at Phoenix Esports League. We hope you enjoyed all the games that we had, and we hope to see you next time for some more Phoenix Esports League action.